speaker, Liz Dederer from the E-Women Network Connecticut chapter.
Woo! Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Okay.
So, hi, with everyone with a full mouth. So I'm Liz Dederer. We're going to talk about speaking your value with the 8 languages of money, which is a program I co-created. So in true presentation style, I like to tell you what I'm going to tell you, then I'll tell you, and then if we can remember, I'll tell you what I told you. How's that sound? There we go. Presentation's one-on-one. So by the end of this presentation, you will know, that's a strong deliverable, you will know the #1 mistake we make when stepping into sales conversations. You'll know what the 8 languages of money are, how the hidden challenges of the 8 languages of money may be holding you back from earning more income, 3 powerful strategies to putting money in your pocket fast. Who's curious about that one? There we go. I see some. There we go. Come on. Woo! There we go. All right. And a bonus, if there's time, and I don't click around too much, the top secret strategy that I use to close clients quickly without feeling salesy. And nurturers will love this one, and you'll know more about that as we get going. But before I get started really deep diving into it, I think it's important that I share a little disclaimer with you guys, because I'm all about authenticity and integrity. I'm not a salesperson, and here I am, I'm going to teach you a sales training about women and money and sales. And I'm not a salesperson, I'm sorry to tell you. So if you think this is going to be like a sales training where you're going to learn about sales, it's not. And the reason I say that is because I'm a service person. I'm going to put this down because this slide stays for a second. Then I need to switch hands. So I'm service. I've always been in service. As Michelle read my background, that I grew up in retail. And you think retail, you think sales. But for me, much like Heather's a nonprofit organization, it's all about helping women look and feel their best. That was me in my earliest days in retail, that I thought that if I could put someone in the right outfit, that would change and empower them. So it was never sales to me. It was never about, the dollar at the end of the day. Matter of fact, when I would get a quota, when I would get the KPIs, the key performance indicators, when I would have all those metrics above me, it was like squashing me and making me feel really uncomfortable. And then it would, who here has an Angora sweater or has put one on at the wrong time of year? And you're like, a little itchy. That's kind of how I felt in the sales suit. I was like, I don't like this. But then I was always attracted to these kind of salesy type jobs. It just, for whatever reason, because it allowed me to be in a position to serve. So retail was service. And then from there, I got into the wholesale side of things. BCBG, anyone know the brand? I worked with the co-founder, Serge Azria, and we launched a shoe line together, because I love me some shoes. So we launched a shoe line together, Joie, which is a casual luxury clothing and shoe company. And if you think about shoe sales, yes, my friends at the time called me Al Bundy. Love them. Not so much. But it was shoe sales, right? I was launching this shoe line across the country, so now my accounts are the independent boutiques from Maine to Florida, and I had west out to here, so I had Nordstrom, I had Neiman Marcus, I had Saks Fifth Avenue, and all the independents in between. And you would think that that's like totally sales. Like here I am peddling shoes of all things, going into a boutique, and my approach was never, you need these $400 wholesale sandals because that doesn't resonate with me. It was that we've got Serge Azria behind this. There's a lot of marketing money going into this launch, and you're going to be the only boutique in the area that has these, so it's going to be really beneficial for you to get on this bandwagon, because once you sign, I'm going to close off an X mile radius. So you are going to be the only one who's going to be featured in Glamour, who's going to be featured in Harper's Bazaar, et cetera, et cetera. So it was total like, right? Is that not doing a favor for the business owner? So then it was just, well, how many do you want to write today? And that was not a sales thought. That was just, I want to help these small businesses. Total service thinking. Then I got in from there into executive recruiting. That's where I was building senior leadership teams for the retail companies. And you think about what is executive recruiting? It's people sales. right? I'm taking an executive, I'm selling into this company, or I have the company and I need to go find someone to sell into the role, whatever that is. But again, I looked at it from the lens of service. Here's this executive who's not being treated well within their company or has, greater talents or abilities than what they're allowed to show and expand. And here I am in an opportunity, like as a matchmaker, like a business matchmaker, it was like the coolest thing in the world. I get to take this growing company that's a rocket ship and I get to put in this person who's like been needing this home. And it felt so good. So it was always service-based to me. So the funny thing is, never, ever, ever did I consider myself sales. Then I got this wild idea when I found out I was pregnant, like the same week, to start a business. I just didn't want to do the corporate thing anymore. So I actually started with like a franchise tech company that does web design. I needed a product. I'd always had a business alongside my career, cleaning out closets for a while, selling the clothes on eBay after the fashion thing. So when I found out I was pregnant, I started my own company doing web design, social media, things like that for small businesses. And that was great. I was able to leave my career behind by the time my daughter was 7 months old. So that worked out kind of well. Then I get into my business, and now I've got like time, which I didn't fully have before, because I don't have the corporate job anymore. And I asked myself a question I had never really asked before. What do you want? Right? What do you, now that you've done the need, what is it that you want? So I looked at it from the lens of, well, service. Where are my clients being best served by me? And it was really from the strategies and conversations that I was having with them. A few moments ago, I kind of rattled off a script of what you guys could potentially say as extending an invitation to someone to come join next month's meeting. That's what I do, I script, right? So a lot of what I found my clients were getting a benefit from were those scripts that I was giving them and how to have the conversations and how to navigate the sales process. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really like the whole deliverable thing of the websites and keeping up with all the project management, managing social media accounts. It was not my thing. Don't like it. But it was good, it worked. But I decided, you know what? There's a cost associated with that. I had marketing consultants, was growing this kind of like empire. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. I just want to step to where my clients are getting the most value, which is giving them these strategies. And isn't that brilliant that I can, trim my overhead and I can run a leaner business, and aren't I so smart? And oh my gosh. So I rebranded and, kept a few clients and was out getting more. And my sales dried up like brick wall. And I'm going through a separation at the time. So now it's like, okay, single mom has no choice. Got to make some money. Why are my sales drying up? What happened was, not that the brand didn't resonate or anything like that, right? I'm kind of okay in that department. What it was me now stepping into a conversation with a business owner, not to sell them a tangible product of a website or a tangible social media strategy, but to position myself as an expert. And all this self-worth stuff started coming up. And I was like, who am I to do this? And there's really no bottom line wholesale value that I can't go below. And does that kind of resonate with anyone where you have a hard time really standing in your own worth? So I started to notice my money stuff was coming up. So that's how the 8 Languages of Money was born, is because as I started to notice my own money stuff coming up, now I'm seeing it through the lens, and I see it with my clients too, that their money stuff is coming up. But you can't say to someone, oh, that's your money stuff. That doesn't work well. I've tried it. The queen of inserting foot in mouth. So I can also tell you all the things not to say. So the way I was able to start breaking through to my clients and breaking through myself was to give them the soft skills to say, I think your nurturer is over-delivering a little bit right now. We'll talk about what that means in a minute. But now I was able to put it, instead of saying it's, it's because you are, it's now this third-party kind of entity. So I created this program that allowed me to work with my clients through their money stuff, and the results started coming in faster and faster and faster. Now I work with clients specifically on the sales conversations, which we'll talk about in a minute, and I have to get this out. I'm bubbling with excitement. Then in the last 3 weeks, I've had 3 clients report in a total of $20,000 earned in their businesses. So they've busted through some money stuff. Big time, but I don't teach sales. So 8 languages of money. First, let's talk about what is the number one mistake that we make stepping into sales conversations. Number one mistake, we all do it. We were having a sidebar earlier about progress kind of versus perfection, right? As women, I think we look at what is it that we need to figure out and master through. I'm here to kind of write you a permission slip to say this one never, that I found, really goes away. So I just want to acknowledge it so at least you're more aware of it when you're out there having sales conversations. But the number one mistake that we make stepping into sales conversations is that we make financial decisions for other people from our own financial positioning, from our own money mindset, from our own wallet, from what we actually have. And there's been, studies around this that it says that women historically will not invest more will not ask someone to invest more than they have ever invested themselves. They will not ask someone to invest more than they have in their bank account right now. And what I want to tell you is when you're coming from that place of absolute struggle, right? The entrepreneurial struggle that does happen in the beginning that people don't really talk about, where it is client to client and it is, can I put gas in the car at times? That thinking is going to keep you right there. Because if you are operating from a zone of financial lack and you're not going to charge more than you have, how are you going to get out of that? Right? So that's the number one mistake. And we're making financial decisions for other people. Who here is familiar with a phrase? I might have come up with it, though I thought I heard it from somewhere else, but a broke millionaire. Does anyone know what I mean by that? It's the person who, it's kind of two ways to look at it. So the one way to look at it is it's the person who has the hole in the shoes, pilled clothing, a car from 1979, and $6 bazillion in the bank, right? So if we see someone like that, what are we doing when we're making a financial decision for them? They can't afford my services. They don't have the money. Right? And what you're doing is you're taking an opportunity away from someone to better themselves, and what you're also doing is you're taking an opportunity away from you to get your full value because they got the money. The other side of the broke millionaire is the one who looks all bedazzled, right? The bedazzler, we're in Texas, you guys know about that, right? Come on, bedazzle your jeans. Don't lie, you did it. So the bedazzled, right? The one who looks like the millionaire, the one who looks so fancy in all the jewels, dripping in jewels, and has $2.2 in the bank account. And you've made a decision based on appearance, right? This is not, I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm just letting you know if you've done it, you're not alone, and just be aware of it. So it's making the decision to say, well, they look like they could do it, so clearly they can. What I just described to you is what I would call in the 8 languages of money an accumulator and a celebrity. It's your classic saver spender, right? So here are your 8 languages of money. And I'll go through each one in a little bit of detail. And I gave them each personality as I wrote them up here. You see the marketing, you see the old designer in me coming out. So the accumulator I was just talking about, that's who I would call your inner banker. This is the one who saves. This is the one who doesn't spend money very easily, and also has kind of a fear-based relationship with money. Saving comes very easily and naturally to them. This is the one you want your financial advisor to be an accumulator. You certainly want your bookkeeper and your CPA to be accumulators because they're very precise with details. Now, the other way I use this, I just want to step back for a second. Yes, we're talking about money, but there's a reason I start with money. A, because it's sexy and we all want more of it, right? But it's the other thing is because how you do money is how you do everything. Yep, so what I mean by that is now we kind of look in a vertical. So we have money at the top, and now what are the other currencies? Temp, time, energy, money, and people. So for an accumulator, how you do money is how you do everything. You're very precise with your time. When it comes to energy and people, you kind of hold those relationships a little bit close to you. I have one client who's an accumulator, and we're working on building out her free offer, and we're working on, co-creating some marketing language together. And she's very reluctant to give information away from the get-go. Does that make sense? Because she's afraid of letting go of anything. So that's the accumulator mindset. The alchemist, I love to call this one the inner hippie. Make love, not money, right? This is the one that just wants to do good in the world. And if money is in the equation, like let somebody else touch it, it really makes the alchemist feel very icky. You don't picture like hippies on Wall Street kind of a thing. So that's where the alchemist is just full on. I'm all about the cause, the why am I doing this. The celebrity is who I was talking about before, is this is your spender. This is the one whose saving is totally a 4-letter word. It just does not come easily or naturally to them. So actually, not that I get into financial planning, but when I see a celebrity come into my business, they're typically hemorrhaging cash. So the first thing I'll tell them to do is not to save, because they will go running and screaming in the opposite direction. So I tell them to track their spending just to get some clarity around it, because alchemists and celebrities, connectors too, they don't want to know about the numbers. It doesn't feel good. Their main currencies are energy and people. They're not financially motivated. They're not driven by time and precision. So when a celebrity comes into my world, I tell them to start tracking their spending so we have some idea of what's going on, because I'll need to know where do we, if we continue to grow their business and they've got these hemorrhagings going on, it's only going to continue to amplify and magnify the situation. Track the spending and then take 10% of what you're all familiar with the concept of tithing, so take 10% of what you've spent and put that into a future self account. Connector is the one who is all about people. I call it currency confusion, so they confuse people with currency. So the more people they have around them, the better they feel. Moving along a little bit faster because I just realized the time. So your maverick, and I have an extended training about this at closeclientsquickly.com, and there's a sign-up sheet that Perry will pass around in a few minutes. Your maverick is the one who is your big risk taker, so that's why I have them up there to the side, kind of off in the corner. They're the ones who are go big or go home. So these are the ones who all entrepreneurs have a little bit of maverick in them. The nurturer is the one who over-delivers. Notice I'm already running over on time. Nurturer. No coincidence, it's Dederer. The romantic, we like to over-deliver letters. Your romantic is kind of what I would say is your classic salesperson, because they enjoy that courting process of going through that engagement process. But a romantic alone might have a hard time closing the sale because they're going to be so inclined just to keep that romantic period going on. And then your ruler is the one that I call your inner CEO. This is the one who is very precise. Again, it's a time and money kind of currency that they're operating in. Great leaders, great big visionary thinkers with the ability to execute very well. So there's no right or wrong with any of these. There's no, best value to have, best order to have. How are the hidden challenges? We talked a little bit about this already. Or how are they holding you back? If you have a dominant money language that's not financially motivated, that's kind of the obvious one of how that could be holding you back. It's because you're not thinking about closing the sale. You're confusing your energy and your people currencies for the money. So closing the sale is not really the first thought to you. The second one is having a money language that is financially motivated. And you might be thinking, how is that a negative? Because if you're too financially motivated, you could miss out on that sales process and you could be coming in for the kill a little bit too soon. Does that make sense? And then if you're operating outside of your unique blend of money languages, this is really kind of the crux of everything. So you hear a sales trainer and you're like, you know what, I really like their style, I'm going to try that on. Remember that Angora sweater I was talking about? So this is what happens if you're operating, well, they closed that sale really well doing this, I'm going to try that on. They did it because it's their money language. It's not necessarily going to work 100% for you. So what I do with clients is we co-create your sales script, so you're stepping into conversations really in a way that's based on your money language, that's based on your business, so that you don't have to put on the Angora sweater and go into the sales conversation all uncomfortable. You can do it in a way that's authentic to you, because that's the most important thing. So you can over-deliver like the nurturer. And that's why I'm picking up pace here. The 3 strategies, this is really important. Speak your value, not someone else's. So as I'm going through the money languages, you guys heard different things that kind of said, oh, that's a little bit of me, that's a little bit of me. Don't change it. This is not about changing who you are. It's just kind of acknowledging, accepting, and embracing who you are. So speak your value, not someone else's, first and foremost. Determine your fastest path to cash. Now, I've said this in some talks before, and I had a client follow up with me, not a client, I had somebody follow up with me about a week later that said that they earned $900 from this. 2 ways to look at your fastest path to cash, and that is Look in your closet. What do you have hanging there with tags still on it? Return it. Money is money. Money attracts money, right? If we're holding on to money in our closet, where else is that showing up in your business? The other way is who owes you money. Get on the phone and lovingly give them a nudge, because whose pain is that? Yours or theirs? Okay? So the bonus, oh my God, we are like down to 32 seconds, I think. The bonus top secret strategy that I use to close clients quickly without feeling like a salesperson is I always have a bonus. I'm a nurturer, I have to over deliver. So it feels really good in integrity to me when I'm closing a client, when I'm doing anything, that I have to throw in some element of a bonus so that I can say, this is what you're buying, and I'm also going to give you this. Nurturers have to over deliver. It's like air for us. So that is how you close clients quickly without feeling like a salesperson. So what Perry's going to pass around so lovingly that, and this is Perry, she's a new member, please meet her. And the reason she is chosen is because she showed up and participated in the pre-call, which was so much fun. So what she's passing around are two things. One is a worksheet that I would challenge you all to fill out before you leave here today. I have a program called the Dialing for Dollars Club, because I come up with all these crazy names for things. And it's a place where we help you to make outbound sales calls in your business. And the challenge for you is to write down before you leave here today 3 people with phone numbers that you will call for your business today. It's Monday. So you can do this today. So 3 people with phone numbers that you will make intentional outbound calls to for your business. The second form that's being passed around is if you liked what you heard, if it resonated with you, you want a copy of the free training, you'd like to learn about the masterclass where I work with you to co-create your actual sales script, because I have the 3-step proven formula that I've uncovered onto how to have a perfect sales conversation. And from that, I've also created a 10-point script that I use to co-create with you so that you're having a perfect sales call every time. So I've got all that information on there. So any questions from anyone? I know we're right at the tail end. Biggest takeaway? Bueller? Yes.
The labels of all those different kind of money personalities.
Yep.
That really clarifies, like, I just assessed my whole family.
Ah.
That really helps.
Awesome, awesome.
All the people that owe you money.
Yes. Lovingly nudge them. It's your pain, not theirs. Yep. And what I did with a client is I gave him a script. I said, can you just humor me? Can you pretend to be a really busy, like overwhelmed business owner? And then you call the company and you're like, I'm so sorry. Did you say the check was in the mail? And you just, that's it. Just lovingly getting them back. Yes.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there one kind of primary person that you are? Because I saw myself in like about 3 of those.
Great point. So you're a combination of all of them. So the way I run the assessment, which is a financial strength finder assessment, it nets out where all of them are within you. And what we look at are kind of the top 3 or 4, the most dominant, to understand what is your unique money makeup. So exactly, you're going to be a little bit of all of them. Awesome. Yes?
If you have a situation where you have an employee, is it important to have a similar sales script for the company as a presence, or is it more important to have something that suits each person's personality?
That's a great point. So the sales script that I teach is actually, I say the word sales script because you guys understand what that is, but it's really not a script in that respect. It's more like a process that you would work someone through, every step that they would need to hit in a conversation. So that is uniform across all industries, across all people. And then it's just customized kind of to them with some key questions that they would want to ask, really more based on your business, but also kind of spun with a flavor for them. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Anyone else? Last one. Come on. Going once? Yes.
Can I just say I like that you acknowledge that it's okay that everybody experiences that. And I think that there is some shame in us saying it out loud, and I appreciate that you've experienced that. So thank you.
The money blocks or
just the fear to ask for money or
oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nurturers can't do it. It's really, really hard. Really, really hard. The nurturers, alchemists, connectors, which all 3, this one. So we don't like money, right? But it's necessary, and it's just shifting the perspective around it. So yeah, it's not easy for everyone. Yes, darling.
So what is the the best way to ask and to close the deal? Or how do you coach people to do that? I'm sure you have a lot to coach on.
Yeah. So that's totally a loaded question. Basically the way that I teach, and I can do this just in a nutshell without giving the whole thing away, is because it's a whole game-changing kind of process that I would take you through. And this is where my clients have received the buku bucks, because it's a game changer. Lovingly, I say this to my clients: your business ain't got nothing to do with you. It's all about them. And if you go into the conversation thinking, how am I going to close this? How am I going to present what I have? You're already in it with sales energy, and you've stepped out of service. So the way that I kind of look at it is, if on one side you have the free coaching call, how many have done those? Or you're just giving it away, solving their problem, and then why didn't they give me money? Well, because you didn't ask for it and you solved their temporary problem, right? And the other side, we have the total sales conversation, which is coming into it with, I've got to close them, I've got to do this, etc. In the middle, what I teach is service. They're going to feel healed and supported, and it's going to be done in a way that's financially beneficial for you. Total service. Does that help?
Yes.
Cool.
Very good.
Thank you for letting me go over. You have satisfied the nurturer.
No. My desire is for them to all.
Yeah.
close-
Does everyone
close
have
out.
something actionable that you can walk away and you feel like you're going to actually be able to do something different in your business?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm going
Awesome.
to give you guys 3 minutes to come up with at least 2 names on that list that you can call people.
And phone numbers.
And phone numbers. So we're going to get some quiet time right now, and I'm going to give, because that's important, for you to write at least 2 people on that list that you can call today.
Yes.
Because the day's not over until 5.
That's right.